What's going on, everyone? So, Austin Reaves, I really like his aggression thus far this preseason, right? Last season, one of my biggest issues with Austin Reaves was that I felt like he settled too much and he wasn't his aggressive self, right? He wasn't looking for his shot. He wasn't in attack mode. He wasn't attacking the closeouts as frequent. He wasn't getting in the teeth of the defense, drawing contact, getting to the foul line, right? Basically all the things you saw the previous season. His shooting has been a real issue. His shooting has been a real concern. And I talked about this earlier in preseason, and people told me, oh, look, it's first two preseason games. Don't worry, he'll be fine. And I said, it's not just the first two preseason games. We have an entire sample size last year, and he shot 28% from three in the playoffs. And guess what's happened the rest of the preseason thus far? He's still shooting terrible, right? Even the other night, had a great game, but guess what? He still was 1 of 4 from three. Right? Like, I love the aggression. Defensively, he has been very good defensively, right? Gotta credit him. And I'm not saying that we don't need him. I'm not saying that you don't trade him, right? You're probably trading D'Lo before you end up trading Austin Reaves. However, with Dalton Knecht and his style of play, I see a lot of people that are like, great, Austin Reaves is now expendable. Now, yes and no, right? So first off, Austin Reaves is still proven, right? Like, again, yes, he's completely forgot how to shoot, which is incredibly frustrating because it just makes things so much more challenging, and he has to work so much harder to get his shots off. He has to work so much harder to do the things that he is good at, which is like, again, be crafty, get into the teeth of the defense, create contact, put guys on his hip, attack the closeouts, right? Those type of things. When he's knocking down the three ball, you can't, like, he's getting whatever he wants on the court because you have to go and challenge that. But you've seen he'll hit his first, one or two threes, and teams are out there challenging. And then he'll miss his next two, and teams kind of back off a little bit because they know, like, okay, if I go out and challenge, he's just going to get by me, and then now we're in a disadvantage, right? But when he's not hitting shots, teams will just kind of sag off and just, hey, we'll play the percentages. Like in the playoffs, Denver did that a ton. Austin Reaves was getting like wide open looks, and it's like he's shooting 28% from three. He's shooting like 55% from two. Why would we let him get a two? Take 10 threes if you want to, please. Right? You're only going to make 2 or 3 of them, right? So, like, the defense adjusts based on how Austin Reaves performs. But, again, he still is proven. He is a guy that we know is not afraid of the moment, that steps up in the playoffs, that can still deliver. Defensively, he was a traffic cone last season. So far, he's looked very good defensively. He's not going to be an elite. He's not this, like, lockdown, absolute clamp defender, but he is good enough for what you need, right? Especially if you can get some other athleticism, particularly at the guard position alongside Austin Reaves. And now Austin Reaves doesn't have to defend the best player. He's defending the second or third best player. That goes a long way, too. Dalton Knecht he's been special. He's been unbelievable. And he's actually been solid defensively. Kind of had his rocky, but you're starting to see the improvements defensively. Starting to see him kind of figure some stuff out here defensively. But with Dalton Knecht, there's still a couple things. One, we need to see what does he look like in an actual NBA game atmosphere. I understand it's preseason. I understand, yes, he's playing against NBA team. Yeah, but there's a difference between when you're playing against nothing but starting level talent and then top end rotation guys compared to like G League and guys that are never even going to make it to the NBA. Right? I'm not trying to diminish what Dalton Knecht has done because we've seen him go and get 15 against starters, right? Like we've seen him be able to still deliver, but you need to see, can he put it together consistently? Also, when he gets to the playoffs, what is he able to do? Right? A lot of guys, great. Look at D'Lo as an example. D'Lo is a top 5 point guard in the league during the regular season. He gets to the playoffs and he's the worst point guard in the league. Right? Not really, but you get my either way. But you get my point, right? Like, D'Angelo Russell is high efficiency, high volume 3-point shooting. Go get you 18 to 20 a night. Dish out 6 to 8 assists, get to the playoffs, and the guy is, 10 points on terrible efficiency and dish out like 3 assists. Like, he just becomes a completely different player. Again, I'm not saying Dalton Knecht won't be that guy. You can see the attitude with it. Like, you can see the hunger. You can see, like, even when he can't, like, we've watched him go like 0 of 4 from 3, and he's just like, the next one's going in. And then you look up and he's like 5 of 10 from 3, and you're like, how did that happen, right? Like, he's got that dog in him, right? There's certain guys you see, you watch them play, and you can tell, right? Like, you know, D'Lo at times looks very lethargic out there. Now, Austin Reaves has defended him and just been like, oh, it's because he's so good, he makes it look so easy, until you get to the playoffs, right? Like, but my point is that we still need the sample size with Dalton Knecht, right? What he's done in Summer League, fantastic. What he's done thus far in preseason, fantastic. But before, like, if he's doing what he's doing now in the regular season, come, you know, early January, and the guy's averaging 15 a game or something like that, and he's just him out there, just, you know, and he's got the size and the athleticism, and, right, like, the idea of what Dalton Knecht can be absolutely makes Austin Reaves expendable, right? Because Dalton Knecht's probably best at the 2, because that's where he's best going to utilize his athleticism and size, right? Him at the 3, compared to like most like higher end 3s, that's where like you don't have the advantage, right? It either just kind of washes out, or, you know, maybe it's a slight advantage, but because of his shooting, but like, you know, you don't have this like significant gap, right? When you think of like 2 guards in the league, having Dalton Knecht, who's 6'6", 6'7", being able to slot in at the 2, that's a big 2 guard compared to most 2 guards are, you know, at 6'5" at the largest. And Dalton Knecht's got, you know, some weight behind him, and his shooting and his athleticism, right, would just be a welcome addition over Austin Reaves, who, you know, he's frailer, right? He doesn't have as much strength. You know, he is crafty, but like, no, he's not really athletic, right? Like, the idea of Dalton Knecht makes a ton of sense in place of Austin Reaves, right? Like, boom, you could just slot him in, and then Austin Reaves, who is a, you know, looked at as a valuable asset to even other teams, now you might be able to get something that makes more sense in an upgrade scenario. But I wouldn't be so quick to jump the gun, right? I know I've been critical of Austin Reaves, but he's still a good basketball player. I still like him best as like that 6th man role, because I just think he can do what he's best at in that 6th man role, right? He can be aggressive. He can play his game more than in the starting unit, where he's got to kind of play amongst the 5, where off the bench, here you go, Reaves, go do you. And he can just do whatever he wants. I mean, the numbers even back it up, right? I've talked about this numerous times, that Austin Reaves in that 6-man role is just where he's at his best, or where he's been at his best. If you want to start him, but really kind of scatter him as the 6th man, then fine. But like, to me, I don't want to, like, I understand we live in the moment, right? Dalton Knecht, come on, look at Reaves. Look at what Reaves is doing. Look at Dalton Knecht, right? Like, but you got to look at, again, Reaves has been proven regular season and playoffs. As critical as I've been of Austin Reaves last year, he's still in a bad year. Gave you 16, 4, and 5, right? Like, he still averaged, you know, 37% from 3. He really wasn't a 37% three-point shooter. It was more of like month of 28%, month of 43%, a month of like, it was the LeBron, you know, 3-point route. Outside of recently, LeBron's been fantastic last, like, you know, year and a half, but historically speaking, right? LeBron will like average 36% from 3, but it's like he's 20% this month, and he's like 60% this month, and then he's like 25% this month, and he's like 80% this month, right? And it like all averages out to like 36%. It's basically what Austin Reaves was. But even in a bad year, as the 4th guy, he still gave you good stats. He still gave you good numbers, and he's looked good in all the other categories. Again, he's been aggressive. He's playing defense. He's been rebounding better. He's been making plays and assists, right? I really like what we've seen from Austin Reaves. If he can just remember how to shoot, watch out, right? Now we're talking. Now we're cooking, right? And I've talked about, I believe Austin Reaves can be a 25-5 guy, even as the 4th option, right? Especially if he's being aggressive and he's looking for his shot and he's actually out there, you know, hunting the opposing defense down. Again, I like Austin Reaves. I think Austin Reaves is still a very good player. I think he is better than his contract. I think that there are real values of Austin Reaves. But we can't, and I've talked about this before, right? You can like a player, but still be honest and real about the situation, right? I can still like Austin Reaves. I can still believe that Austin Reaves is going to be good this year, but be like, hey, he's having his struggles shooting the three. That doesn't mean that I hate Austin Reaves. Doesn't mean that you're Austin Reaves. No, like, am I wrong? Now, if I'm just making stuff up, if Austin Reaves is shooting 40% from three and I'm like, man, he can't shoot, but he's 40% on like 8 attempts a game. Like, nah, that's just then I'm being a hater. But to go, like, the guy shooting 25% from three is not, like, that's the fact. Like, that's the reality. I can still go, hey, Austin Reaves has been great in all these other areas. Austin Reaves is still a good player. I'm not saying you just trade Austin Reaves, just trade Austin Reaves. And I'm even saying, like, hold your horses on Dalton Knecht. I believe Dalton Knecht is going to be a guy. Like, I think Dalton Knecht, what we've seen from him, Dalton Knecht is going to be him at some point, right? Is it this year? If it is this year, then yes, Austin Reaves becomes expendable, especially if you can get another need that kind of bolsters your team overall. But let's wait and see if Dalton Knecht is him. If Dalton Knecht is him, then yes, we should have a real honest conversation about looking to trade Reaves, especially if he continues to struggle shooting the three ball. If he remembers how to shoot and he continues to do everything else he's doing, then no, you can't trade Reaves, even if Dalton Knecht figures it out. Like, even if Dalton Knecht becomes that guy, at that point, you need to trade Rui and bring Knecht in or something. You figure it out, right? Like, because if Dalton Knecht becomes the guy we believe he can be and Austin Reaves remembers how to shoot, you need to keep both. Because you're talking about two guys, and with Knecht's athleticism and size, it does make sense alongside each other. Where, D'Lo and Reaves don't make sense because they're both essentially the same player. Dalton Knecht and Austin Reaves are not the same player. Dalton Knecht will be a better overall player than Austin Reaves just because of his athleticism and intangibles and his size and stuff like that, right? Like, he's a bigger, better Austin Reaves. And he's also a couple years younger, right? So, like, I do think you could play those two alongside each other. But, again, we gotta let things play out first. I just see people that are like, trade Austin Reaves. And look, I've talked about trading Austin Reaves. But I've said, if Austin Reaves continues to struggle, if Austin Reaves figures it out, he's a valuable piece, especially on his contract. Keep him, right? You need him. Worst case, you bring him off the bench as the sixth man, right? But he is, if he can remember how to shoot threes, I'm not saying, if he can just be a 37% three-point shooter, and I know people are like, Tyler was 37% last year. Again, I'm talking about night in and night out. I'm not talking about in pockets that all average to 37%. I'm saying, like, obviously bad games happen, good games happen, right? There's going to be the games where he's like 8 of 9 from 3. There's going to be the games where he's like 1 of 11 from 3. That happens. But I'm talking about nightly, right? Out of 10 games, at least 8 of them, he's shooting at least 37% from 3. If he can do that, then no, you cannot. You got to keep him because of his contract, because of his value, and the way he plays alongside guys, right? There's real value in Austin Reaves. So again, to me, I'm not saying you don't. No one is untradeable. Even Dalton Knecht, I don't believe is untradeable, right? Like, if Steph becomes available tomorrow and they're like, we have to have Dalton Knecht, here you go. Here's Dalton Knecht, right? Like, I love Dalton Knecht. I think he's going to be a stud. But if you could get a guy that wins you a championship or two, you do it, right? It just depends on the circumstance. No one's untradeable. All I'm saying is that we should hold our horses, one, to see if Austin Reaves can get out of his slump, and two, to see if Dalton Knecht can actually be what the idea of him can be right out the gate, or if it takes him a little time, right? Again, first 20 games, he might be pedestrian. Right, and then boom, that switch flips, and then you look up and he's everything that you want and more. Right, like, you see it all the time. Like, players kind of have their little struggles early on. They're kind of getting a feel, trying to learn, trying to grasp, trying to understand the game, and they figure it out, and then that's it. So again, to me, patience is key. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yes, patience, be patient. Let's see if Austin Reaves can turn it around. Or let's see if Dalton Knecht can be what we believe he can be right out the gate, and then maybe that changes things, or if both can kind of be what we want them to be, then yeah, keep them both, trade other guys, or do you think like no matter what, trade Austin Reaves, or no matter what, like Dalton Knecht's not going to be that guy? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.